You ever walk away from a woman thinking, was she into me? Then your friend says, bro, she was all over you. And you're left confused, rewinding every moment in your head. It's not your fault. Most men are trained to hear words, not read silence. But women rarely say it. They show it, in quick glances, subtle shifts, and fleeting touches. Years ago, I missed it too. She laughed at all my jokes, leaned in when I spoke, even touched my arm, but I thought she was just being nice. A week later, she told someone, I gave him every sign, he didn't move. That moment haunted me, so I studied body language, psychology, stoic presence. I learned to see what others ignore. Now I notice it everywhere, in cafes, on sidewalks, even during casual chats. Lust is never loud. It's quiet, deliberate, almost invisible. But here's the truth. Once you learn these 5 hidden signs, you'll never miss the signal again. And the last one? It's so subtle, you'll feel it before you see it. Sign 1. The triangle gaze. Eyes, lips, chest. You sit across from her at a table. She's smiling, sipping slowly. But her eyes, they're not fixed in one place. They move. First, they lock with yours. Then, without breaking rhythm, they drift to your lips. Then lower. A quick flicker down your chest, then back to your eyes. It's subtle, a second or 2 at most. But it's not random. It's a signal. This is what psychologists call the triangle gaze. A nonverbal cue women unconsciously use when they feel a surge of physical attraction. She may not even realize she's doing it. Her brain is simply following desire's map. She's not just seeing you, she's scanning you. And here's what most men get wrong. They're too busy thinking about what to say next to notice what her eyes are saying right now. When a woman desires you, her gaze becomes more layered. It no longer stays in the safe zone, eye to eye. It wanders into flirtation territory. Eyes to lips, lips to chest. Sometimes a lingering glance at your hands if you're holding something. This isn't politeness. It's curiosity. It's chemistry. It's lust, whispering through her pupils. Let me break it down further. When a woman looks at your eyes, she's engaging, trying to connect emotionally. When her gaze drops to your lips, she's imagining something. A kiss, a closeness. And when she scans your chest or body, she's assessing something primal. Your physique, your presence, your dominance. Now here's where the Stoic perspective makes all the difference. The average guy notices this and thinks, she's into me. I need to act fast. He breaks the frame. He becomes reactive. He chases the moment. But the Stoic man, he observes. He holds his frame. He doesn't flinch under her gaze. He lets her look. He allows her curiosity to build tension. Because desire thrives in silence, not in needy response. Let her scan you. Let her wonder what you're thinking. Let her feel the weight of your calm. And trust this, the more comfortable she feels letting her eyes explore you, the more she's signaling a desire for closeness. Not just emotionally, physically. This is where you pause and lean back. Because confidence isn't proven in what you say next, it's in how unbothered you are in that moment of silent tension. Let me give you an example. You're talking to a woman at a bookstore. You crack a subtle joke. She smiles, not with her mouth, but with her eyes. Then her eyes drop, briefly to your lips, maybe to your arms if you're holding a book. Most men won't notice this, but the man who lives with presence does. And he doesn't pounce. He doesn't flinch. He gives her space to feel whatever she's feeling, uninterrupted. Here's a psychological insight worth remembering. People follow their eyes. Where they look is often where they want to go. If she's looking at your lips, she's not thinking about small talk. If she's looking at your chest, she's not evaluating your opinions. She's feeling something deeper, something rooted in attraction, not logic. But remember, the triangle gaze doesn't always mean she's in love. It doesn't mean she's ready to give you everything. It simply means this. She's thinking about you in a way most men never even get close to. So how do you respond? Don't rush. Don't compliment her back. Don't ask, what are you thinking about? Just hold her gaze. Smile, not with your mouth, but with your presence. Then go back to the conversation like it never happened. Why? Because that moment did happen, and she knows you saw it. But when you don't react like every other man, something flips inside her. You become the mystery, the one who doesn't chase, the one who doesn't need her attention, yet has it fully. That's the power of the triangle gaze. Not just that it reveals her attraction, but that it gives you a chance to separate yourself from the noise of men who beg for signals. You see it, you understand it, and then you let it sit. Let her eyes speak. Let your calm answer. And let the silence between you do all the flirting. Because real attraction, it doesn't start with a pickup line. It starts with the way she looks at you when she thinks you're not watching. Sign 2. Self-grooming. In your presence, you're talking to her. And suddenly, she starts adjusting her hair, then her necklace, then her sleeves, maybe even her lip gloss, all in the middle of a conversation. Most guys brush past it, assuming she's just fixing herself. But you're not most guys anymore. Because now you understand something deeper. When a woman is subtly attracted to you, not romantically, but physically, her body often reacts before her words do. And one of the strongest subconscious signs is self-grooming. It could be as obvious as her checking her reflection in her phone screen, or as subtle as her smoothing the creases in her jeans, even when they're not wrinkled. Either way, it's not about perfection. It's about presentation. She's preparing herself for you. Now let's break this down. From a psychological perspective, self-grooming is part of a deep evolutionary code. In the animal kingdom, creatures groom themselves to show they're healthy, clean, and ready to mate. Humans are no different. Just more discreet. She may not realize what she's doing, but when she tucks her hair behind her ear, adjusts her jewelry, or applies lip balm mid-conversation, her subconscious is saying, "Look at me. I want to look good for you." It's not performance. It's instinct. And here's the part most men never understand. The more a woman self-grooms in your presence, the more she's feeling your energy. Especially if you haven't complimented her. Especially if you're just holding eye contact, calm, grounded, and saying very little. Because it's your presence that pulls this reaction out of her. Not your compliments. Not your charm. Just your steady, composed masculinity. Let me give you a real-world example. You're sitting next to her during a casual conversation. The energy is light. She smiles, then suddenly pulls out a compact mirror, fixes a tiny smudge near her eye, closes it, smiles again, and continues as if nothing happened. To most men, that moment means nothing. But to the stoic man, that moment means everything. She didn't do that for herself. She did it because she cares about how you see her. She's aware of your gaze. She's responding to your calm, your control. Now here's the trap most guys fall into. They notice her grooming, and they say something like, "You look really good, by the way," or "Don't worry, you're fine." And just like that, they ruin the mystery. You don't need to reward her for showing attraction. That's not your role. Your role is to stay present, observant, detached, yet intentional. Let her fix her hair. Let her adjust her dress. Let her glance in the mirror 3 times. Your silence says everything. I see you, and I'm not surprised you want to look your best for me. Because here's what makes the stoic man different. He doesn't just watch for signs. He respects the fact that a woman wants to be seen by him. He doesn't interrupt the moment. He lets it unfold. This makes her feel safe, seen, desired, but not rushed. And in that safety, her desire grows. Now, some guys might ask, but what if she's just fixing herself out of habit? Fair question. Here's how you know the difference. If she grooms herself while looking at you, or after you say something meaningful, it's for you. If she grooms when you're not even paying attention, it's likely habitual. But when it's timed with your presence, when her body language shifts the moment you walk in or speak with authority, it's more than just maintenance. It's instinctive signaling. And here's the stoic advantage. You don't react. You don't get flustered. You don't give her more than she's earned. You stay grounded. You let her earn your attention by leaning into your silence, by showing you, through body language, that she values your presence enough to elevate hers. And when she does, that's when you lead. That's when you guide the conversation deeper, not by giving validation, but by creating comfort. Because real attraction isn't just about her looking good. It's about why she wants to look good around you. It's about who she becomes in your presence. So the next time a woman starts adjusting her dress, fixing her collar, or applying lip balm mid-conversation, don't overlook it. Smile inwardly. Say nothing. And let the moment speak louder than words. Because desire isn't loud. It's quiet. It's in the details. And the stoic man always notices the details. Sign 3. Her body points toward you. Even when she's not speaking, you're in a group conversation. Maybe at a cafe, a networking event, or just hanging out with friends. Everyone's talking, laughing, telling stories. But while her words are aimed at someone else, Her body is quietly aimed at you. Her feet are pointed in your direction. Her torso is slightly turned your way. Even when someone else is speaking, she leans. Just enough toward where you are. This is no accident. This is directional attraction, one of the most silent, subconscious signs of desire. And yet, it's one that most men never notice. You see, the body speaks in ways the mouth doesn't. It reveals what the mind is too cautious or too afraid to say out loud. And when a woman feels drawn to a man, she begins to orient toward him, even if she's shy, even if she's in a relationship, even if she's not ready to admit her feelings. Her body already has. Now here's why this matters to you. Most men focus only on words, what she says, how she responds, whether she laughs at their jokes. But the Stoic man, he observes her orientation. He watches for what her body prioritizes. Because when a woman is physically drawn to you, her posture will betray her intent. Her feet might be facing you in a room full of people. Her shoulders will subtly angle toward your side. Even when she sits, she'll choose a position that makes you visible or accessible. Let me tell you a quick story. Years ago, I was at a dinner with some friends. A woman across the table seemed disinterested, barely spoke, didn't make eye contact. Most men would have thought she was cold, but I noticed her body was consistently angled in my direction. Her knees pointed toward me. When someone else spoke, she would glance at them, then quickly look back in my direction. Even when I wasn't saying anything. Later that night, she approached me quietly and said, "You're really hard to ignore." That's when it clicked. Attraction isn't always expressed. Sometimes it's positioned. Here's why it happens. Human beings are wired to orient toward what we desire or fear. If you see something attractive, your body subtly turns toward it, even if you pretend you're uninterested. It's instinctual, and women, though often more socially controlled, aren't exempt. So when her body shifts toward you, when her energy leans into your space, that's her nervous system making a choice. She's not just being polite, she's gravitating. Now here's the Stoic advantage. You don't react. You don't try to reward her by stepping in, complimenting her, or crowding her space. Instead, you remain grounded in your presence. Let her come closer. Let her body language reveal what her words won't. Because here's the thing, when you notice her orientation, and don't call it out, it creates tension. And tension is the playground of attraction. She thinks she's being subtle. She doesn't know you've already decoded her. And when you stay calm, detached, yet present, you become even more irresistible. You're not reacting, you're receiving. Now let's clarify something important. Not every woman who turns toward you is lusting after you. That's not the point. The key is pattern and timing. If you walk into a room and her body naturally turns your way, even if slightly, that's a sign. If she's talking to someone else, but her torso and feet stay aimed at you, she's aware of you. And if she mirrors your shifts, if you change position and, seconds later, so does she, then her body is following your presence. That's not coincidence. That's desire, coded in posture. So how do you respond? Simple. You let it happen. No rush. No verbal cue. No pressure. Because the moment you call it out, the moment you chase, you break the energy. But when you let her body speak and allow her space to lean deeper into your presence, that's where the real power lives. You become the man she orients toward, even in silence, even in a crowd. Because when her body chooses you before her words do, that's not just attraction, that's instinct. And instinct doesn't lie. Sign 4. The lingering touch or near touch, it starts small. She brushes lint off your sleeve, touches your arm for just a second too long, or stands just close enough for your shoulders to touch, without ever fully closing the gap. To most men, this feels casual, maybe even accidental. But to the trained eye, to the Stoic man who sees beneath the surface, this is something else entirely. This is one of the most primal signs of attraction, the lingering touch, or the almost touch. You see, when a woman feels a physical pull toward you, her body begins closing distance. Not always with words, not always with intention, but with action. Touch is the language of closeness, of comfort, of desire. And when she uses it, even briefly, she's signaling something deeper than, "I like you." She's saying, "I trust you. I feel safe here. I want to feel your presence more directly. Let's go deeper." There's a difference between an accidental touch and a lingering one. An accidental touch is quick, dismissed, unemotional, but a lingering touch? That's the one where time stretches, where her hand stays on your arm a heartbeat longer than necessary, where she doesn't pull away fast, she waits to see if you will. And here's where most men lose the moment. They get flustered. They laugh nervously. They comment on it. The stoic man doesn't. He notices the touch, feels it, but stays grounded, because he knows something most men don't. When a woman touches you, she's testing your energy. She's not just expressing interest. She's observing your response. Will you tense up? Will you lean in too much? Will you overreact? Or will you remain centered, composed, unshaken? Because in that moment, she's not looking for a reaction. She's looking for certainty. She wants to know that your presence is strong enough to hold space for hers, that you won't fumble the moment or turn it into something it's not, that you can handle her softness without becoming weak. Now let's talk about the near touch. Just as powerful, often even more revealing. She may not actually make contact, but she flirts with the idea. She rests her hand close to yours. She leans in, her shoulder almost grazing yours. She passes behind you, barely skimming your back. This is her way of saying, I want to be near you, but I need to feel safe doing it. It's a slow escalation, an invitation without words, and it demands emotional intelligence to read properly. So what do you do when it happens? Nothing. Let the moment breathe. The stoic man understands that physical touch is not a cue for escalation. It's a mirror, a reflection of her internal state. If she touches you and you don't flinch, don't chase, don't react, she begins to trust that she can be herself around you, that you're not desperate, that your calm is real, and that's magnetic. Because desire isn't built in fireworks. It's built in tension, in the space between closeness and restraint, in the ability to be near someone and still remain grounded in yourself. Now here's the key. When she touches you, she's not asking for immediate action. She's offering emotional access. She's saying, I feel something when I'm near you, and I'm giving you a preview. Your job? Don't interrupt the preview. Let her curiosity evolve into craving. Let her see that you are not surprised by her interest, that you are not moved just because she moved first, that your calm presence existed before her touch and will exist long after. Because that is attractive. That is rare. That is stoic. Now let me leave you with this. Most men will only notice her words. A few will notice her looks. But the men she remembers? They noticed her touch and respected it. So next time she lingers, even for just a second, don't pull away. Don't lean in. Just be still. Let the silence say what words never could. Because when a woman touches you, it's not random. It's not meaningless. It's her body speaking. And the stoic man, he always listens. Sign 5. The delayed goodbye. You've had a great conversation. Laughed. Connected. Shared something real. Now it's time to part ways. You say, I should get going. She nods, but doesn't move. Instead, she brings up a random question. Or says, wait, before you go. Maybe she laughs nervously, looks around, adjusts her bag, then stalls. That moment right there, that's not confusion. That's not awkwardness. That's one of the clearest signs of physical and emotional desire. She doesn't want to say goodbye, not because she's trying to be polite, but because she feels something, and she's not ready to let it go yet. The delayed goodbye is a powerful cue most men miss. It's quiet, it's respectful, but it's also full of unspoken emotion. And the man who sees it and responds with presence instead of pressure leaves a lasting impression. Let's break it down. When a woman delays her goodbye, she's doing something very human. She's lingering in the moment, savoring it, stretching it, because in your presence, she felt something different, something rare. Maybe she felt safe. Maybe she felt seen. Maybe, for once, she wasn't being rushed, judged, or sold to. Whatever it was, she doesn't want it to end. And so, instead of turning and walking away, she hovers. She brings up something small, a detail you mentioned earlier. She stands with her weight on one foot, as if she's about to leave, but never does. She keeps looking at you, even when she has nothing left to say. This is not hesitation. This is invitation. But here's the part most men get wrong. They either take this as a green light to escalate, fast, or they completely miss it and leave too soon. Both moves kill the energy. The stoic man does neither. He doesn't rush the goodbye. He doesn't get flustered by the silence. He simply holds the space, because he knows that the most powerful moments often happen after the last word is said. You see, the delayed goodbye isn't just about her interest. It's about emotional resistance to closure. Her body is torn between logic and feeling. She knows it's time to go, but her energy still wants to stay. And that internal tug-of-war shows up in how she moves, or doesn't. It's the way she keeps adjusting her scarf. The way she says, "All right then," but doesn't walk away. The way she looks at you like she's waiting for you to do something. But here's where the Stoic mindset shines. You don't chase the moment. You don't ruin the tension by forcing an outcome. You own the moment by simply being present in it. If she wants to stay, she will. If she wants to speak, she'll speak. And if she wants more from the moment, she'll open that door, not with words, but with energy. And when she does, you follow. Not with desperation, but with direction. Maybe you say, "You don't seem like you're ready to leave yet," with a calm smile, not a challenge. Then you wait. Watch her reaction. Let the silence grow. Because in that silence, trust builds. Comfort deepens. Attraction intensifies. Most women are used to being rushed. Rushed off calls. Rushed off dates. Rushed out of conversations. But when a man doesn't rush her goodbye, when he lets her linger without needing to fill the space, she feels something rare. She feels understood. And understanding is one of the deepest forms of connection. Now let's be clear. The delayed goodbye doesn't always mean she wants you to make a move. Sometimes it just means she enjoyed your presence so much, she wants to remember it a little longer. And that's okay, because the Stoic man isn't obsessed with outcome. He's attuned to energy. He knows that every moment doesn't need to lead somewhere. Some just need to be felt. So the next time she delays her goodbye, let her pause. Let her hesitate. Let her bring up that last random thing. And instead of filling the moment with noise, fill it with presence. Because in the end, the way you handle her goodbye will tell her everything she needs to know about the kind of man you are. And when she finally walks away, she won't just remember your words. She'll remember how you made her feel. Calm, safe, seen. And that is what brings her back. Most men walk through life deaf to what women say when they're not speaking. They wait for words, "I like you, I want you, you're different." But the truth is, the signs were always there. Just not in sentences. In gestures. In shifts. In silence. She didn't tell you she was drawn to you. She showed it. In the way her eyes scanned your face when you weren't looking. In the way she adjusted her hair when you spoke. In the way her feet stayed aimed at you, even when she laughed at someone else's joke. In the way her hand rested on your arm a second too long. In the way she lingered at the doorway, waiting, hoping, just a little longer. And here's the Stoic truth. Lust doesn't shout. It whispers. Not out of shame, but out of instinct. Because real attraction isn't about being obvious. It's about being felt. And if you don't know how to feel the moment, you'll always miss it. You'll miss the glance that meant, "Come closer." You'll miss the silence that meant, "Don't leave yet." You'll miss the chance to connect, not through effort, but through awareness. That's where the Stoic man thrives. He doesn't need to be loud. He doesn't need to chase. He doesn't need to decode her with pickup lines or tricks. He just watches. He observes. He listens to what her body says when her words stay silent. Because the Stoic man knows, presence is louder than pursuit. While others try to impress, he simply is. While others chase attention, he earns attraction through energy, through calm, through clarity, through control. Seneca once said, "Most powerful is he who has himself in his own power." That's what women feel when they're near a Stoic man, a quiet confidence, a still strength, a presence that doesn't beg, but invites. Because when she touches her hair, it's not for vanity. It's for you. When she steps a little closer, she's not crowding. She's testing. And when she delays her goodbye, it's not indecision. It's desire. Your job? Not to act, not to chase, but to notice, to stay still in the storm of signals, to remain grounded when her presence stirs the air, to speak only when words will enhance the energy, not kill it. That's the edge the modern man needs. Not louder lines, not more effort, just more awareness. Because attraction is always happening, in every room, every glance, every passing conversation. But only a few men are tuned in enough to hear it. And only one man has the discipline to hear it and wait. Wait for her to speak again, not with words, but with her eyes, with her steps, with her silence. And when she does, you'll be ready, not because you rehearsed something clever, but because you didn't need to. So the next time you wonder if she's into you, don't ask her. Watch how her body speaks, and ask yourself, are you present enough to hear her without sound? Because the man who listens with his eyes never has to beg with his words. So now you know, the signs were never loud. They were never obvious. They were never spoken. They were always quiet, always subtle, always hidden in the spaces between her words, in the tension between moments. You don't need to chase lust. You just need to become the kind of man it orients toward. Still, grounded, fully present. Because when you master your attention, you master attraction. Now, if this video opened your eyes, if you saw things you've missed before, then imagine what happens when you sharpen your awareness daily. That's what this channel is for. Subscribe now if you want to stop guessing and start seeing. We break down human behavior, attraction, emotional intelligence, and stoic masculinity with calm clarity. No gimmicks, no tricks, just truth, awareness, and real tools that work. So if you're tired of being confused by women, if you're done overthinking, chasing, or reacting, then subscribe. Because on this channel, we don't beg for attention. We earn it by becoming unshakable. Tap like if this video gave you clarity. Leave a comment with the sign you've seen the most but missed before. And turn on notifications, because this is just the beginning. Remember, she won't always say it with words, but she'll always show it. To the man who's still enough to notice. Stay calm, stay sharp, stay stoic. I'll see you in the next one.